Welcome back to CNB. We are coming to you this week from the New York International Auto Show. Now, a brand like Acura is again very US specific. It is of course the high-end brand from the Honda stable, but unlike Lexus, which has been able to go a little bit more global, Acura still fairly niche, and there used to be some talk about Acura being considered for India. All of that seems to have died down, but the new MDX SUV, fairly compact, making its debut here at New York. Let's move on now from all of this and talk about a debut back home. It's a car that hasn't officially been launched yet, but it had quite a fancy preview to a very elite audience. That's the new updated version of the BMW 7 Series. It was a pretty special setting in Jodhpur, and being so exclusive, CNB simply had to be there.
A spectacular setting fit for a Maharaja, and why not? The Umaid Bhavan Palace in Jodhpur was host to a rather elite gathering a few days ago, and they were all here to witness the unveiling of this car. The god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, joined the Maharaja of Jodhpur, Gaj Singh, and actor Diya Mirza to help take the covers off this car. The all-new updated 7 Series sedan in its extended wheelbase avatar has finally arrived in India. It does look more attractive with a grown-up and sophisticated feel compared to the old car. The interiors have also been spruced up, and there is a new 8-speed gearbox on hand. The car is now being assembled at the Chennai plant. The official launch of the new 7 is imminent, which is when BMW will announce the prices. This was just an unveil for the who's who attending the Jodhpur One World Retreat event, the right clientele, if you will, for this car.
Well, joining us here is the man who heads BMW in India, and it's a proud moment for you with the launch of the unveil of this car. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And
yes,
good to see you again.
Thank you.
Philip, I have to say that the Umaid Bhavan is a spectacular setting, and sort of fits the image of the car as well. But as a flagship, how important even today is it for you to talk about the 7 Series in India?
Yes, we are very happy to have the flagship here, the presentation in Jodhpur, and at this special event for a special car and for our flagship. And the flagship is incredibly important, so it shows the direction of the brand BMW. The BMW direction goes into aesthetics, into dynamics, and this is really the most innovative, dynamic and aesthetic luxury sedan we can offer. And I think we proved with the new 7 Series also that we did a good job. The 7 Series till now was incredibly successful. It was the most BMW 7 Series, the most successful one. So we are really looking forward for the second half of this career of this 7 Series. Looking forward for another success.
And the other reason why I ask you that is because over the last few years we have seen BMW concentrate on some of the cars which obviously drive higher volumes than a car like this would, so as to focus maybe more on getting into the market in different parts of it. However, we at one time suddenly thought that maybe 7 Series got somewhere forgotten in the background. So will this be the big focus for you to once again establish just that brand story with this car now?
Yes, of course, this car has the most impact on the brand BMW, and the BMW brand is the most trusted and the most innovative and successful brand in India in the luxury car segment. So we have to do everything in our research and development to support the 7 Series. Of course, we launched 2 weeks ago the X1. We are launching in this year the 1 Series. They all are typical BMWs, but so the most innovative features, so really the excellence is first in the flagship in the BMW 7 Series. It's therefore an incredible, important car to develop the brand, which is really successful positioned in India, but to develop it also into the future.
I know that today is not the day to talk about prices, and so we'll leave that for another day. But I have to, of course, ask you about what happened with the union budget. I mean, the finance minister has targeted cars like these. Are you disappointed by that kind of a policy move?
Also first, we are happy that we have now clarity, and
do we have clarity? I mean, that's
yeah, that's right. But the biggest enemy for the car business is if something before something coming, and we don't know really what happens, and so then the customer, and I think it's also understandable, is postponing his decision. Now we have certain clarity, and with this car we have absolutely clarity, even if there are some discussions. You're right. This car is first time produced in Chennai, and so it's for us a fantastic new opportunity, because you have also in this segment to produce in India, to have a local product to be successful, and because you don't ask for a price, but I can promise you that the price is not because of the government going somewhere in utopic directions. No, it's a really attractive price also for this car. It's a premium price, but it's an attractive price.
I know that the facelift will have maybe a slightly shorter run than the car before that, so not in terms of comparing actual duration of sales, but do you expect this car to be more successful than its outgoing car in India as well?
Yes, absolutely. So this car has now a fantastic upgrading. For example, we have 8-gear automatic here inside. We have new engines from the outside. There are also, especially on the front, some adaptations. Inside, you have you can choose how you want to drive it, in which modus. If you want to drive it more comfortable or economical on the one side, or more sportive, you can decide. But not only this, then the dashboard is changing in this, so that it gets the necessary information. If you drive more economical, then it says, if you now be driving carefully, how many fuel you save and how much longer you can drive. If you drive more sportive, there's of course, it shows more the torque which the engine at the moment shows you. It has a new display inside and a new navigation system, so a lot of new things, new colors also interior wise. So it's absolutely upgrading to the existing 7 Series, so we are absolutely sure that this car will be a good success.
All the very best with it. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Now, the electric drive version of the B-Class from Mercedes-Benz is making a bit of a North American debut, if you will. We've seen it at other motor shows, but I'm not going to talk about this electric car. It's actually a car that's driven into the Indian market. Rare for us to say electric car in India, isn't it? Well, that's the Mahindra e2o, and these are our first impressions.
The much-awaited e2o is finally here. Yes, Mahindra took some time in finalizing the launch because there was a chance the government may offer some financial incentives to environmentally friendly cars. In this year's budget, that wasn't to be, and so the e2o has arrived with a higher price tag than Mahindra would have liked. But let's not obsess simply about the price. The car is, well, worth talking about in itself. The car is quirky looking, and why not? It's meant to stand out as different, isn't it? Its body is made up of ABS panels and not pressed metal, which helps reduce manufacturing costs and yet maintains safety levels. It also means that there's no paint involved, and so the body is more resistant to scratches and dents. The e2o is a 2-door, and though there is a hatch, it won't really qualify as a 3-door. The boot isn't very spacious, and it's good for small bags or shopping. Of course, Mahindra does not want you to view the car as entirely different.
They may as well have called it the E22O, because it's going to always face a bit of a catch-22 situation. Alright, ridiculous thing to say perhaps, but the point being, the company is going to try and compel you to compare this car to what's already in the market. So it's going to say that, you know what, don't think of this as a special car, think of this as you would think of any other small B-segment hatch. And therein lies the problem, because the minute you start doing that, you start comparing things like build quality, you start comparing things like shape and size and just the overall look, convenience of having 4 doors on the sides rather than just 2. All of those factors, I think, might just end up going a little bit against the car. In terms of styling, it is very distinct looking. It definitely looks bigger than the previous Reva car, but it still doesn't give you the sense of space that it actually does have inside. I mean, I have to say the cabin is actually fairly spacious. but from the outside it's a little awkward looking. It does take some getting used to. But on the other hand, it also helps you sort of stand out from the crowd, because the minute you see this car coming, you're going to say, hey, look, there's the electric car. And so that's a little bit of an advantage, if you will. So looks wise, not much to talk about. A little Evoque-esque headlamp here, which kind of wraps around here over the fender, and really large doors, big greenhouse. So it will take some getting used to. The comparison, though, I think is going to be in some senses an advantage, and in some senses the undoing for the product.
And that's because the e2o stands out as special when you try and establish its differences, isn't it? The e2o has a 3-phase induction motor with 19 kilowatt output and 53 Newton metros of torque. The battery is a 48-volt lithium-ion pack and the transmission is automatic. Like all electric cars, this one too needs to be plugged in to charge the batteries. A full charge will give you a 100-kilometer driving range. That may vary by a few kilometers depending on your driving style, the traffic conditions and the pressure on the AC in varying temperatures. While a full charge from near zero takes 5 hours, a 1-hour charge gives you 20 kilometers. The e2o's limitations are primarily its driving range and the infrastructure to allow charging within the range. Most Indian homes and offices don't have the provision of a power outlet in the parking areas, and so a special outlet will need to be set up in most cases. For its part, Mahindra e2o says it will do that installation for you, and that's included in the purchase price. The company has also set up a network of charging stations in the 8 cities that the car is being launched in, though Mahindra e2o's home city of Bangalore, as well as cities like Delhi and Mumbai, have the maximum number. The car has a top speed of 80 km per hour, and while the auto gearbox is smooth, its performance is more akin to a fearless scooter's in nature, so it takes some getting used to. The gearbox has a boost feature that allows you to get a burst of extra power that you may need for quick overtaking or sustained faster cruising speed.
Now in this car, you hear pretty much every creak, every groan, every rattle, every whiz and every whir. And that's because obviously there's no engine noise to drown it out. So even the AC fan, all of that, the AC compressor, you can hear it all really vividly. That is not the only difference though between this and a conventional car. Yes, there are going to be obviously differences between this and a conventional car. But you know what? Every electric car has a bit of a character, a bit of a quirky character, driving character that is. And it just takes a bit of getting used to. It's quick enough. You adapt to it quickly and it's no problem. It becomes convenient to use and drive after that. But the point I want to make aside from that is that while you take that for granted, there is going to be that little issue for some people when they find out that this car doesn't have power steering. And you know what? A car this size, this kind of weight, small wheels, small turning radius, it's really not a problem. In fact, 90% of the time, it's not a problem. But that 10%, yes, the wheel feels a little bit hard.
But that's really not a huge negative in our book. It's also loaded with some cool features, like the onboard electronics, for example. The car's top-end model also features a GPS-enabled navigation system that also points out charging stations nearby. In fact, the car's onboard computer will constantly tell you your driving range, and it also has an SOS feature called Revive that gives you an additional 7 to 8 kilometers if your battery power dips below 10%. This can be activated by the touch of a button which alerts the company headquarters, and they then release the extra power to you, though this can only be done 3 times to ensure that you do charge correctly and on time. Each car comes with an inbuilt GSM activated chip that allows the company to keep tabs on the performance and the condition of each individual car. This also allows troubleshooting and any software related upgrades to be carried out remotely without the car needing to be brought into a workshop. Now let's come to the prices. The car has been priced at 5.96 lakh rupees on road in New Delhi for its base version, and that's because the Delhi government has offered a massive 29.5% subsidy on it. The Karnataka government too has reduced VAT to 5% from 14% for the car, while the Maharashtra government has decided not to impose a road tax on the vehicle. In other parts of the country, the car will cost as much as 2 lakh rupees more. At those prices, the e2o is comparable with the top-end B+ segment cars. But Mahindra claims savings of up to 85,000 rupees a year on fuel costs when compared to a similar size petrol car. Mahindra still expects to sell as many as 400 to 500 units per month, and we still like the e2o, for it is a brave step in the right direction. And we hope that with economies of scale kicking in once Mahindra and SsangYong use the electric applications in their future vehicles, that we get even more attractively positioned vehicles from Mahindra Reva soon.
The XKRS GT is the latest machine from Jaguar and looks pretty mean, doesn't it? It's also pretty powerful, and only 30 of them will be made. 25 of those will be sold right here in the US, so a bit of an American note to end on. But don't worry, we've got plenty of details from the New York Auto Show on the program next week. Something for you to look forward to. Please keep your feedback coming in to me, and please wear your seatbelts, please wear your helmets. I will see you on the show next week. Bye-bye.